Okay, so 7 ways to get the conversation started. Before we get going with all the tips that I'm going to talk about today, I want to give you a little bit of idea of who I am and why I'm here to talk to you today. My background is that I own a company called TechBuzz Marketing. My name is Deborah Richmond, and my company is 2 years old. About 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago actually, I was working for an insurance company and I was in the marketing department. And, everything broke loose on all the financial industries and everything that happened, and I was laid off. That day, when I was laid off as a single mom, I vowed I never again was going to be in the position where one person could take away my entire income in one day by laying me off. And so I decided to start my own business, which is TechBuzz Marketing. Now, I focus on social media entirely, and the reason that I do is because when I worked at the insurance company, we were doing lots of marketing things, and social media was getting started about then, and I was starting to read some really exciting things from people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Mari Smith and Chris Brogan, all people who were really getting into social media and figuring out how it would work. And it was really exciting. However, while I was working at the insurance company, they had no interest in it whatsoever, which was, disheartening. So I knew that this was my opportunity when I started my own business to really dig into this as a new business. It was my opportunity to dig into this brand new area and really see how it works and how I can help other people use it. And I was really excited about that because my family background, we have a lot of small business owners in my family. So coming from that type of background, I could see where these social media tools, if they did what people said they do, then these could be really great ways to really move a small business forward. And so that's what I started to do, is I started to investigate absolutely everything I possibly could when it comes to social media. Every strategy, I listened to podcasts, I read blogs, and continue to this day to go through mountains of information to find those strategies that really work. And my mission is that I never teach a strategy unless I've used it myself and I know that it works. And so there are a lot of things that I test that don't work that well. So everything I tell you today are things I've actually used, and I can tell you they actually do work. And so also one of the things that I'm very committed to is that by the end of our time today, I hope to have given you a lot of good information that you can right away act on, because I know when I'm watching webinars, when I'm absorbing new content and information, I want those, excuse me, I want those nuggets of information that I can use right now. So I'm hoping to give you a lot of those today. So make sure that you do have something to write on, because you're going to want to write some of these things down. I want to go over a bit of an overview with you first as far as what I teach, the system that I teach, because it's going to help you understand as we move into the core topic that we're here today, conversation and Facebook. It's going to help you understand some of the things that we're going to be doing and what's going to be most beneficial to marketing your business. Everything that I teach, I use for my own business, and I can tell you that with my business, I sell my services because I manage I manage social media strategies for companies. I sell coaching and consulting, and I also sell products in the form of online training products. And I'm telling you that because all of these different types of products and services, all of them, you are absolutely able to bring in new customers, new prospects, new clients through social media, because this is entirely how I market my business. I have a friend who has done sales for years, and he's very good at it, and he's always laughing at me because I know that as my business grows, I should start to learn more about traditional sales and cold calling, and I'm just terrible at those things. But the reason is because so far I haven't had to use them. So he laughs at me, but truly my social media marketing acts like a magnet for my company so that it brings people to me. You've probably heard of inbound marketing versus outbound. Well, this is the inbound marketing. It brings people to me so I don't have to go out and cold call. At least not right now, I don't. I'm getting calls every week, and it's a lot of fun. And so today we're going to talk about Facebook is a major portion of how you can get these things working for you as well. So to give you the basics of the strategy that I teach, and it's the overview you need, like I said, to really put all these things together. I teach what's called a hub and spoke system, and by that, if you think of a large wagon wheel, the middle of it, the hub, is going to be your website or blog. Now, we're going to talk about blogs a little bit later. I don't want you to be afraid of that word if you haven't really had much contact with them. If you have a blog, that's awesome. But in the middle is your website is your home base. That's your storefront. That's the place where you want people there, because that's the place on the internet where you are actually giving good information, you're selling your services, you're selling your products, and it all happens there. And so the spokes of the wheel are your social media networks, and that's where people are going to be bumping into you there, and finding you there and seeing your content there, and then you're going to be driving that traffic, you're going to be drawing them in back to your website. Because again, your website's where all of your information is, very specifically about you, what you do, what you offer. So that's in a nutshell what we want to talk about. It's very similar to face-to-face networking, the traditional going out to events and networking luncheons, that you go out to those things because you need to bump into people, you need to meet new people, you need to let people be exposed to you, what your business does, so that if ever they or someone they know needs your services, they know where to find you. This is exactly the same thing. If you think of it that way, that the social media networks are the places, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, those are the places where you can put information out there that will attract people's attention, and slowly you can funnel them back to your website. And so, like I said, today, one of the strategies that we're talking about today fit right into that framework. This is the question I get from all of my consulting clients and people that I manage their accounts for them. I'm on Facebook, now what do I do? That's very, very common. A lot of you are probably nodding your head right now, because we know social media, we've heard it's really good for our business, we know we're supposed to be there and doing something to sell more, to bring in more business. But you get there and you're talking to your cousins, and you've got some friends over here, and you're trying to figure out what are you really supposed to be doing there. So that's what I want to talk about. First and foremost, what we're going to talk about today is creating conversation specifically on your fan page. So you definitely, for your business, you want to have a fan page. If you don't have one already, that's the place to start for you, is that you need to create one. Now, at the end of this presentation, we're going to give you information on how you can contact me, and if you need help with how to set up a fan page, it's really very simple, and I'm happy to help, and I have training products and all that sorts of things, happy to help you with any of these pieces that we talk about that you don't know enough about yet, because today our topic is very specific, but those types of things I'm happy to help you with. So first and foremost is you need a fan page. So I'm going to kind of move forward assuming that you do already have a fan page for your business, and that is very different from your personal profile. Your personal profile is a place where your photo is, and all of your friends have found you there, and all of your high school classmates, whether you want to talk to them or not, have found you there. And then your Facebook fan page is the place where you can be more business focused, and it's set up for exactly that. When Facebook began, there was only the profiles, and people who were starting to try to market their business, we were having problems because we couldn't figure out, we can't keep them separate, and now my friends don't want to hear about my business, and my business people don't want to hear about my friends. And so this has been the way that Facebook helps us keep them separate. So a fan page is where you want to be. And on your fan page, you want to, conversation captures attention. And that's, again, going back to our hub and spoke system, our entire purpose when we're on Facebook is we want to capture people's attention, we want to grow the relationship with people, and we want to get them interested in our content so they will come to our site and they will read it and they will have more contact with us there, and hopefully they'll sign up for our email list, or they will call us for services, or they will buy products from there. To get a good return, a good ROI on social media, this is where it starts, and everybody will talk about ROI, and they'll talk about what is the return for my time. If you follow a specific strategy, you will have a return for your time, and I can tell you that because that's the case with my business, that the time I put in, as long as I know what I'm doing as far as which activities to be focused on and actually spend a little time on, then I'm able to, like I said, bring people to my site, and then they do give me a call. So your goals, again, with social marketing, your goals are: one, capture attention; two, begin a relationship; and three, drive traffic to your website. I'm going to say that 1,000 times today because it's just really the one piece I want you to walk away with. I'm going to give you several different things that you need to do in order to kind of make sure that you're capturing attention. And one of them is that you need to be there often. You need to come to Facebook several times a week. Now, before we go further, I want to say that you should not be spending a lot of time on any of your social media activities. And I'm going to say it again, do not spend a lot of time on the social media activities. It's really easy, as some of you may know, it's really easy to kind of get in there and get sucked in and spend a lot of time. And that's okay when you're kind of getting used to Facebook, but you know, when it's your work day, you've got a lot of other things to take care of. You can't be spending all day on Facebook, and nor should you. The things that you need to do here can be done very quickly. What I do myself, and I recommend, is that the first, in the morning when you first come onto your computer and you check your email, most people will do that first. Right after you have cleared your first morning email, go over to Facebook and spend just 5 to 10 minutes. Really, just 5 to 10 minutes. You'll be able to do quite a bit with that amount of time. And then make yourself get off. You really want to just check, keep watching that time, just making sure that you keep it to the amount of time you allotted. And then get off. Because the key is that you're going to come there frequently. So if you spend a lot of time on Monday, then you're going to feel like, well, you don't have time for it the rest of the week. So come there every day or 4 days a week and just spend a few minutes. And the reason is because you're going to be creating conversations with people. And in Facebook, the way that you're able to have a conversation, of course, is not all at once because it's not a live conversation. But you want to have comments that flow back and forth. So you want to be able to keep that conversation moving. And if you come on Monday and you start a conversation with someone and they they answer your piece of conversation, and then they don't hear from you again until Friday, well, they might have forgotten what you're talking about. You kind of lost the momentum. So first and foremost is you need to be there often. When you're there, you need to say interesting things. You need to have conversations, pieces of conversation that really attract attention. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, is what are those things that you can be doing that people find most interesting. Another thing to think of is having photos. Even on your business page, you really should have some photos. Now, I know that's not always the easiest, especially with more conservative businesses. You tend not to really think along those lines of having photos, but you really should. You should have photos in there that, even if it's photos of staff or it's photos around your office or just some simple things that give people a little bit of an idea of your personality of your business. And the personality piece is big when it comes to social media because we want to know more about you. In traditional business, before we started doing everything online to the extent we do now, you saved the personal pieces till a little bit later. You didn't lead with that when you first start meeting people and start networking with people when you're face to face. But with social media, people do very quickly, as they come there, they see who you are, they get a feel for what your business is, and then they do like to see a little bit more. What are you about? So giving your company and yourself a personality online is very important. And photos are a great way to do that. A great way to just like I said, share a little bit more of what's going on in your office, of your staff. If you're out at events and you're able to take a couple photos, very, very simple. Very easy. I mean, it can be something as simple as, say I'm going to an awards luncheon next week. Before I walk into the convention center, I can take a photo of it, put it on Facebook when I get back and say, went to the awards. Just simple things that kind of show what you're doing and what you're about. You need to be human. You need to be more interesting. You don't want to be just the company. You want to be the people behind the company. So that's kind of a balance we need to keep in mind when we're on Facebook, is that yes, it is about our business. Yes, the fan page is for the business, but also to keep it more human whenever you can. To begin, number 2 on this slide is begin a relationship. And so to kind of recap on that one, showing up regularly is going to really help get that relationship started. The fact as soon as people come to your site, you've started a relationship. And then when they engage with you, you've furthered it even further. So it really is the same as the face-to-face relationship building. It just plays out when you're not, a lot of it plays out when you're not there. So people are on your site when you're not there, but you've already put all the pieces on there you'd like them to see, so they start to get to know you. And then interacting. For beginning a relationship, it's really important that you do always follow up. So as you get good at starting conversations, and then people will comment on your page, you want to make sure that when they comment, you come back and answer them, so that you can try to get as much of a conversation going as possible. Now, you don't usually have long conversations. You know, you'll start a conversation, someone will comment, and then you'll comment again. That, even if it ends right there, you at least have, you know, shown that you haven't abandoned the conversation. I liken it to, again, when you're at a face-to-face and you're meeting someone and you're starting, you know, you've just met them and you're starting to get to know them. So you start a conversation with you know, they ask you a question and then you answer and they answer you back, and then you walk away. So I mean, it's as if you don't ever come back to the conversation, it's as though you've walked away. So you don't want to do that. You want to be, you know, really mindful that you're trying to start conversations. You want to keep them going. And then driving traffic. Driving traffic is really, really important. It's not necessarily what we're talking about today, but I want to talk about it because it's so important with social media, and I want you thinking about it as you get going with your Facebook conversations. Content is how you drive traffic. And by content, I mean your website needs to be ready to engage people. So your website needs to have articles on there that are of interest to people, so that they'll want to come and see that. It needs to have good information about products and services. It needs to have, you know, frequently asked questions and tips is another good way to interest people to come to your site. And a blog, first and foremost, a blog is fabulous for creating content on a regular basis and drawing people in. And I will say that over and over and over again, that for me, I think a blog is absolutely necessary for any business, because it really gives, at your website, it gives more information for people to know more about you. And so if a blog is something you've even been thinking about, I want you to definitely, again, get my contact information at the end, and then go check out my website, because I do give a lot of information about blogging there. And if it's something you've even considered before, I want you to really jump into it, because it's really a way that you can distinguish yourself from your competition. But also, that content is so important, because here's what you're going to do. Let me give you my business for the example of how I drive traffic and draw it back to my website like a magnet. I will write a blog post, and I use a WordPress blog, and I recommend that for everybody. It does so many things for you that you don't have to figure out how to do. WordPress does it. And one of them is this, is that it's easy to set it up so that when you write a blog post, that it will automatically, you can have it automated so it automatically shows up on your Facebook fan page. And I do use this, and it's wonderful, because I don't even have to think about it. Once I've updated that, sent that blog post to my website, it automatically goes over to Facebook. It will show, and you've probably seen this, it will show a title. It will show a couple of sentences to the blog post, and you're able to click it and link back over to my blog. And that is how you drive traffic. That's one of the easiest way, and it's why there's several ways to do it, but the reason I'm using that as the example is because it is once you have it set up, it's the easiest way to, on a continual basis, put out good content and information over on Facebook, so that you can keep people coming on a regular basis back to you. I mean, it also keeps your marketing very consistent. Now, you and I know that as we get very big, you know, we'll start our marketing and we've got something going, and okay, this is going to be good, and bringing us new business, and then you get busy. And then you don't have time for it, and then you forget about what your marketing plan was, and then until your funnel is empty or getting close to it, and you start scurrying again to pull out, what was that marketing plan? I need to get going on that again. Social media, and particularly this strategy of using a blog to create content, is really good to overcome that marketing seesaw. When you start to write a blog, you're going to consistently keep putting information there which will then consistently keep putting it over to Facebook, which will consistently keep putting you in front of people on Facebook so that you can keep bringing them back, so that you'll regularly be bringing people back to your website, and that when you can then capture their information there and continue to talk to them through email. It's just a really good regulator for that continual type of marketing. The same thing can be done with articles. If you don't have a blog and you don't want to start one, I'd like to convince you otherwise, but if I can't, articles is the other way to do it. If the articles that you've written, you may already have articles on your website, or if you have articles you've written in the past for publications that you could kind of pull out and repackage again so that there's something that's evergreen, that is not time sensitive, so that you can keep this other information. You can do the same thing with articles as far as putting the title onto your blog post occasionally with a link back to, onto Facebook with a link back to your website. So that's a second way to use that content magnet. Now going to start into our 1 through 7 ways to get conversation started on Facebook. And the first one is encourage fans to comment. Now that's really simple. One thing I will tell you is that everything that I'm going to share with you today, they are all very, very simple things to do. I always focus first on the strategies that are easy to do. They're not complicated. You aren't going to need a whole bunch of other, mechanisms to get them to work. There are more sophisticated things with Facebook that you can do as far as contests and stuff like that. But first, I'm giving you today the things that are easy to do that really do get conversations started. So I'm showing you here on this page that this is an update from a friend of mine. And her website is about a quilt guild that they've started a Facebook page of their own. And so she says we've got 100 members in the group, so let's talk. Now the reason that she put this out there was because her group is quilters. Now the median age for quilters is about 60. So mostly the women are from between 50 and 70 who are in this group. And they're not the early adopters of Facebook, but they are starting to get on there. But they don't realize that you can go ahead and not only watch what's going on the page, but you can speak too. And that's really something that on your fan page you're going to need to kind of educate people. You're going to need to kind of get them started, because what we find out is that there are lots of people who are here every day on Facebook and they're looking at things and they're reading, but they're not saying anything. And this doesn't matter what fan page you're on. This is happening until you kind of get that conversation started. So you can see here that she said, let's get started talking, and sure enough, she had some people who started go ahead and they were talking about their projects, and this shows you one response, and then she had several others as time went on. And that's something to do from time to time is just very simply say to people, hey, talk to me. It's okay to do it, to invite them in. Now along that same line, we're going to go to number 2, and that is use your email signature block to invite conversation. And here's exactly an example that I use in a lot of my emails. And it says, come join the conversation on my fan page. Tell me about your business and your website address. My fans are waiting to meet you. And then I have the address so that they can click it right there or just copy and paste it, and it'll take them to my fan page. I highly recommend that you put this right into your signature block, because in the address of your fan page, come talk to me on Facebook, because your emails, as you and I both know, we use email all the time. Everybody we do business with, we've ended up emailing at least once, and usually dozens of times. So this is a way for you to keep reminding them that it's there. They may not pay attention for the first couple of emails, but then they might, somewhere along the correspondence with you, they'll see that and they will click on it and come see your page, and then come talk to you. Now this particular, the way I've worded this is very specific. I have asked people, because I am a business to business, my clients are businesses, so I want them to, I know that they'd like to promote their business. I know that's what they're talking to me for, is because they're trying to learn how to do it. So I've invited them, come over to my page, promote your business there. Tell us who you are, tell us what you're doing, and if you put your website address or your fan page address, then we'll be able to, all of my other viewers will be able to click that and come over to visit you as well. So we're driving traffic. I'm sharing my traffic with them. This is a really nice thing to do, to be able to invite people to come promote yourself on my site. It just doesn't hurt me at all, and it gets the conversation going. And it's just really, really nice to be able to talk to people and see who's out there who hasn't really been really very vocal yet. And this is not only an example, but this is also an invitation to all of you, is by all means go over and promote yourself on my wall, because I love to be able to talk to you there, and it helps everybody. It's a win-win situation. But most particularly this one being the signature block. And now on the technical side of that, if you're not familiar with the signature block, just about every email manager, whether you use Outlook or any of the other services, they have the ability to put your signature down at the bottom, your name and your email address and your website, whatever you want, so that every email you send will have that signature at the bottom. Most of you know what I'm talking about. You're very familiar with it. But if you're not, that's what I'm talking about. And if you watch other people's emails that come through to you, you're seeing them. And they're not something they've put in each time. It automatically will put that in for you. And if you don't know how to set that up, like I said, email me. I'm happy to pull some information together for you on how to do that. It's just a matter of knowing where to click in Outlook or any of those in order to set that up. So that's a really simple strategy, but it does help drive traffic to your fan page and get people to start talking to you there. Let's go to number 3. Provide meaningful content to your fans. I'm showing you a post from Daniel Lewis, and he is organizing an event called PodCamp Cincinnati that I'm hoping to attend. And what that is, it's a weekend workshop, a seminar. If you're not familiar with it, a PodCamp is it's a different type of conference where it's free and everybody helps organize it, and everybody volunteers to be the speakers, and then so that it ends up being really inexpensive and a really good sharing. So he's putting this together, this event, and he says, book your hotel for PodCamp Cincinnati with Hotels.com and save up to 30%. So this is really, really good, useful information that I definitely want. I want to be able to book my hotel and save some money. So that's just one example of really good information for your readers. Now, some other ideas are frequently asked questions. You've heard of these, you've heard about putting these on websites, you've seen them on websites, but frequently asked questions is also very usable and a very good thing to put onto your updates. And then you'll perk people's interest, and you'll start getting people who will start commenting on those. Tips, that's along the same line. People love quick tips, and every industry has them. Industry changes. If you are, for instance, my industry being social media, I read a blog called Mashable, so it's a magazine that has a lot of information about all kinds of social media and online marketing news. So if something new comes up, there's some piece of news type of information, I can quickly share that with my audience by commenting on it. I can also share an actual article right on your updates. And you've probably seen this before, where people are sharing articles. The way you do that's very simple. When you are on a website like Mashable or CNN or anything where you may be pulling information or you've seen a good article, you simply will copy the address of that exact page where you're reading that article, and then you're going to then paste it into your update posting section on Facebook. So that place where you always type stuff, you paste it right in there. What Facebook does is very often it will process for a couple minutes, and what it's doing, it goes out and it grabs the article, it grabs the title, it grabs a little image from the website that usually goes along with the article, and it turns it into a live link, so people can, you can say, look, check out this great article, and then it'll show it underneath it where people can link, can click it, go right over to the article. And to share articles like that is a lot of people really like that, because it does a couple things. It gives some activity on your fan page, but it also shows people that what your expertise is, shows that you are active in this industry, shows that you are reading about this industry, that you're bringing them good information. And we all love that. We love to have people bring us good information, and we're more likely to read it if someone has recommended it. So it's a good way for you to establish your expertise is by sharing articles. So again, useful, any type of useful, meaningful content, those are the things to put on your fan page in order to start getting some conversation. Number 4, ask questions in your status update. This is really simple. Ask questions so that you can start a conversation. It's really simple, but a lot of people do overlook it. You don't think about it. And I'm giving you an example, and this is a brilliant example. When I found this, I was just so excited because it shows 2 things. One, it shows, this is from West Michigan Women's Expo. This is a woman who she organizes, a friend of mine, and she organizes large events, women's expos in our area. And so she says, hello women of West Michigan, we need your opinion. How often do you pick up on the Town magazine? So she's asking a question. Now if you look below that comment, you will see at the very bottom of this graphic it says 10 comments. She received 10 comments from this question. That's what you want. You want to receive 2, 3, 4 or more comments because that's a good conversation starter. So she's asked a simple question and she's gotten very simple answers. And another thing is she's asked a question that will allow people to give a very short answer. It's, how often do you pick it up? So people can write very short answers. Once a week, never, once a month. Those are the ones that people will actually interact with. If it doesn't take them very much to contribute, they will more often. So the second piece that makes this so brilliant is not only is she asking a question that is getting some good activity going on her site, on her fan page, but she's also crowdsourcing. And all that means is she's gathering information from her crowd, from her audience. So what she's doing here is she's thinking of advertising in On the Town magazine, and that is it's like a weekly publication. It's a handout that you see at the library and at the grocery store and various places around town. And she's wondering, is it worth placing an ad for her event? Is it worth doing that? Does anybody actually read that who comes to her women's expos? And so this is a way for her to kind of get an idea about that. So she's asking a very specific question from them to get very specific information. So depending on if she gets 10 comments and they all say, nope, I never read it, then she may not want to advertise there. This is a great place to ask questions of your audience. It's always worth asking. I mean, we all know this. We all know that it's good to ask your audience what they want. Well, here's a great place to do it, is right here on your fan page. And like I said, it serves 2 purposes. You get the information and you get to get some conversation going here on the fan page. So we are going to move on now to number 5. This looks complicated, but it really is not. Reward fan contributions with a Fan of the Month program. Now, all this is, I've given you an example of someone who has a pretty graphic where they put it together. But all this is choosing a fan of the month. So when you have a fan page, you can see all of your fans. You can click on the list and see everybody. And once a month, you choose someone who's your fan of the month. Now, there's a couple keys to this and a couple ways to do it. First of all, how do you choose who's the fan of the month? Well, there's several ways you can do this. You can randomly select somebody, and people like to be recognized for things, and so you'll be able to tell someone, oh, you're the fan of the month, and then you get to tell everybody on your web page and tell everybody on your newsletter. You want to publicize it these other places so you can draw more interest to your fan page. But it's very, very simple. You can choose randomly. You can choose by whoever has participated the most on your page if you want to go through the month and see who's commented the most. You can choose a key influencer, someone who is in your audience who has a lot of influence with other potential clients that could be potential customers of yours. You can shine a spotlight on them, and this is an easy way to do it. So it's just a very simple thing. It looks complicated, but it's just so simple, and people just, it just gives a little more interaction, a little more interest on your page, you know, a little more going on in your business, and it's very easy to do. So this is one I highly recommend, that you kind of play with this, and you know, you can get their photo, you know, if you want, or you can talk about, if it's, for me, if it's a business to business, they'll have a business, I can talk about their business, or whatever you like. And the one rule that you simply can make is that they need to, well, you don't even have to make it, it's obvious, they need to be a fan of your page. So they need to click that like button. And you always want to, you know, find all the different ways you can to get people to click that like button. And this is a great one, because some people just love this. So that's a very simple fan of the month program. We're going to go to number 6, fill in the blank posts. Now this is just really simple. It is, think of a question, a statement, fill in the blank. So I'm going to give you, this is my example. The number one thing stopping me from creating a Facebook fan page is blank. And then I say, fill in this blank. And so I got several responses from this, and the very first one was, Edward Harding responded, lack of funds, and he said it with a question mark. And so I was able to tell Edward Harding that it doesn't cost anything to create a fan page. There's no cost involved. And he didn't know this, obviously. So, and neither, there are probably lots of other people who didn't as well. So by using a question in this instance that was very specific to my industry, I was able to, you know, not only get some interaction going, but also educate, give a little more information to people. So, you know, anyone who reads this goes, oh, it's free. Well, how do I do that? And then they'll, you know, contact me and find out how to get their fan page set up. And so that's a really easy way. Now there's different, you don't have to do something that's even related to your industry. You can make these very fun and entertaining. You can say, you know, my favorite candy bar is blank, and have people answer that. You know, get it, you have a feel for your own audience, things they might like to answer. 4th of July is awesome because blank, have them fill in the blank. If I had one wish, I would wish for blank. So those are some fun things, entertaining. Things that keep people on your page is information or entertainment, and as always, engagement. So those are, you can use it informationally, or you can use it entertainment-wise, just kind of a nice, fun little thing to do either way. There's something else on this that I want to show you, and this is really important, and that's on Facebook. When you put a post out, it will show you every, it'll tell you the number of impressions that every post gets. Now, I'm going to tell you what that is here in a minute, but first look at this post, and underneath the sentence that I put out there, immediately under it, it says 286 impressions. And it's the impressions I want to talk to you about right now, and that is how many times people have seen this post. Now, that doesn't mean that 286 people came to my wall. What it means is every time I put out a post, it will go out to all of my fans who've already clicked the like button. And so it will show me how many times people saw this, because Facebook, I don't know how they do it, but Facebook tracks how many times people will open up Facebook and which things they see. And that changes because the way Facebook uses its news feed. You know, when you first open up Facebook and you see all the messages from all the people who are your, you know, who you've been following, who you're the fans of, it doesn't always give you everybody. The news feed tries to sort them so it gives you who's the most important to you. It just tries to figure that out, and it has an algorithm that they use that is always kind of a mystery exactly how they do it. But what this tells me is that 286 people did see this post. It's knowing the number of impressions will allow you to see which ones of your posts are most interesting to people, because you're going to see the ones that have the larger numbers. Means that whatever that algorithm is, Facebook showed it to more people. And then also the number of comments and interactions is also going to show you which ones are more popular, which is obvious. You know, you'll get, if you try a fill in the blank post and you get a whole bunch of comments, well, that's very popular. So you want to try it, you want to do it again. So find those things that work well for you and repeat them. Number 7. Number 7, again, this looks like it's difficult, but it really is not. Daily or weekly polls. Now, by a poll, all I mean is you give people a choice of, do you like this or do you like that? So here's my poll. I love to leave comments on other people's Facebook profiles. Which do you like better, leaving comments liking or sharing status updates. Now all those three things are things that you can do when you're looking at someone's update. You can comment on it, you can like it, or you can share it. And so a lot of people do either the commenting or the liking. And so I was able to, it was just a simple question, I was able to get some people to respond. I got 6 comments on this one, which is, that's a good response. And people were telling me. Now the key to this again is with a poll, if you ask them, do you like this or do you like that, it's very easy because the answer is going to be just 1 or 2 words. They like comments, so they were saying comments, 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 and then some people said likes, and then every time keep coming back to the page and keep adding your comments along with everyone else's, so that you are actually, not only did you engage them in conversation, but you're keeping the conversation going, and you just can say some nice chit-chatty polite things, is really how you do it. Now that's all that is. There's no other mechanism involved. It's just coming here and asking, do you like this or do you like that? And you'll see this one got 421 impressions, so apparently that's a popular thing to do. It got looked at more, and it also got more feedback than the other one I showed you with the fill in the blank. And I say daily or weekly polls because it's nice to have these on a regular basis, because people will start to expect to see them. They'll recognize them. Oh, she's asking another question, and they'll go over and they'll answer. Again, it's kind of just getting people to engage and letting them know that, yeah, I really do want to hear from you. Yeah, I really do want you to come over and talk to me. You don't have to just read. Go ahead and hit that keyboard. And they just always need to give just a little bit of encouragement on a regular basis. And this is a way to see these regularly. It's a way to get people to, on a regular basis, understand, oh, that's right, she likes people to answer, and let's go see what they've said. So I've gone through 1 through 7. These are 7 ideas on how to engage people in conversation. I would highly recommend that you try all of these. And I would highly recommend that you choose a couple that you find are very popular and that you find you like to do, because maybe it's easier for you to think up the poll questions, or maybe it's easier for you to come up with the fill in the blank questions, or that they're more fun for you. Find what's fun for you, find what you like, and repeat them. No problem with that. Now I said I had 1 through 7, but I've got just a few more that are quick ways to start conversation. Daily and weekly quick tips. Again, everybody loves tips. You could do something where every day you're given a new tip on your industry. Breaking news, again, this goes back to those articles. You can put articles in here, or you can just comment on breaking news in your industry. The next one is did you know? That just means trivia. Trivia, this day in history, some people love those things, so you can do trivia that's in general trivia. You can do trivia about your industry. You can do trivia about your own company even. A way to kind of build some more personality in is you say, did you know Diane in accounting ran a marathon this weekend? Things like that, did you know? It's just a fun little thing that will engage people. And guess the caption. This is one that's very specific to, some people are very visual, and it involves putting up pictures and then letting people caption them. So it can be something as simple as a picture of a little boy with a big surprised look on his face, and then tell people, caption this photo or guess the caption, and they'll put funny things in there, and people, several people will comment. It can be something as simple as, a birthday cake that's leaning, or, pictures, anything that could be, like a street sign, like a one-way street sign, but it's pointing down or it's pointing up. Just tell people, guess the caption, and they'll come up with funny things. So that's another way to just kind of get people chatting and get people engaging with you. And then we're just down to the end here. This last one is about you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And by that I mean, I want you to go and I want you to join a lot of pages, become fans of a lot of pages. Go ahead and click the like buttons. It doesn't cost you anything. And watch and see what other people are doing. So for instance, this company, Ameriprise Financial, says, what age do you plan or hope to retire? Have your plans changed in recent years? So they're asking a simple question. They got 7 comments. They also got 16 people who liked it. So I guess they didn't want to answer the question, but they liked being asked. I don't know. But they got a lot of interaction with this. And so go through and see who's getting a lot of comments, and when they are, what did they do there? Was it a question? Was it a joke? What was it? And then you can think about how you can adapt that same idea to your Facebook fan page. And the reason I say to do that is because I've given you a lot of ideas, but you know, the ideas are endless. There are some very creative people out there doing some very interesting things. And so, you know, we don't always have to come up with things out of the blue. We can go out and we can adapt these practices that other people have hit on and other people have tried out, and we can use them for our own. And now I'm going to show you resources. So like I said, I've been telling you that I'll show you how you can get a hold of me if you have any questions at all. But I especially want to show you that on my website I have a free ebook for anybody to download, and it's called Pump Up Your Profits with Social Media. And it's going to talk a lot more about that strategy that I talked about at the beginning of this presentation, the overall strategy of what should you be doing while you're on social media in order to actually market your business. So go ahead and go over there and pick that up. It's totally free, no strings attached. And you can email me at absolutely any time or call me if you have questions on anything. I'm happy to help with anything that you're stuck on.